Alright, so if you're stuck scrolling through your library like it's a cursed buffet of regret, I've got you covered. This is 30 perfect games worth revisiting right now. No filler, no remaster bait, just pure quality that refuses to go quietly. So, let's get into it. Let's kick things off with Uncharted 4. This game is 40% treasure hunting, 60% falling off cliffs while yelling, and 100% how did this man survive that? You'll spend most of your time casually committing parkour on architecture that hasn't been stable since the 1400s, while people shoot at you like you're in a cover-based Olympics. Every time you think you're done, another explosive car chase shows up like a party crasher with a grenade. And don't get me started on the grappling hook. It solves more problems than therapy. Revisiting this in 2025 is like replaying your favorite action movie, except you're the one breaking your ankles.
Too many people trying to leave. The driveway's all jammed up.
Shit, what's our backup?
There's that fountain just outside the ballroom. I'll meet you there.
Got it. Let's go.
Next on the list is Far Cry 3, a game where you go from beach bum to jungle warlord faster than you can say, "Is that a tiger?" You craft wallets from goats, snipe enemies while sliding down hills, and ignite entire outposts because stealth is for cowards. The island is gorgeous, right up until it tries to murder you every 3 steps. You parachute into chaos, fight sharks with knives, and somehow find time for drug-induced spirit quests. It's like a survival simulator made by someone with zero chill. Replaying this in 2025 still makes you wonder how your character isn't covered in permanent third-degree burns. And next we have Hitman Absolution. This game is what happens when a stealth game drinks too much espresso. You're supposed to be discreet, but halfway through you're throwing hammers at people in clown costumes while hiding in a potted plant. Everyone's suspicious of you, but nobody ever notices the 6-foot skinhead with a barcode wearing a mascot outfit. The disguise logic is straight up magical. You can poison soup, rig a disco ball to fall on someone, and then walk out in a janitor's outfit like nothing happened. Playing this again feels like returning to a very weird, very violent talent show where everyone dies. Sliding in next is Mad Max. Imagine a game where gas is holy, water is rare, and absolutely everyone screams. You're constantly driving through sandstorms like you're late for an apocalypse-themed dentist appointment. The combat feels like punching metal with your fists, the car upgrades turn your ride into a death blender, and collecting scrap is an actual lifestyle. You can body slam raiders, blow up convoys, and launch a harpoon through someone's bumper just for cutting you off. Revisiting this game is like crawling back into a dusty fever dream filled with explosions and men yelling the word "Fury" at breakfast. Coming up strong is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This game lets you live your pirate dreams while completely ignoring every assassin rulebook. You loot ships, sing sea shanties, and crash into islands like a GPS-less maniac. The stealth mechanics politely take a backseat while you drink rum and harpoon whales like a bloodthirsty marine biologist. Every naval battle ends with your ship on fire and you yelling "Fire the broadside" like a lunatic. It's so good you forget there's a plot. Returning to this game in 2025 is less of a revisit and more of a relaunch into chaos, salt water, and cannonballs, just how it should be. Next up, it's Middle-earth: Shadow of War. This game turns you into Middle-earth's angriest HR manager. You're not just fighting orcs, you're interviewing them, promoting them, and then decapitating them for showing up late. Every orc has more personality than your average office coworker, and when one kills you, they remember it, taunt you, and come back stronger like it's a bad breakup. You'll spend hours just picking which fortress to storm with your personally curated murder squad. Playing this in 2025 is like binge-watching orc reality TV, except you're the host, the villain, and the entire firing squad.
Now you go! Reckon you're going to skewer me.
That little sword's good for a tickle, maybe, but you're gonna need more than that to take me down.
Let's keep it rolling with The Witcher 3. This game is less open-world RPG and more accidental side quest simulator. You try to follow the main story but end up solving a goat kidnapping mystery or punching a ghost in a haunted spoon mansion. Every village has 16 problems and none of them involve minding their own business. The combat is sharp, the monster contracts are brutal, and the card game? You'll lose hours to Gwent like it's your actual job. Playing this again in 2025 is like rereading a dense fantasy novel, except this one lets you fistfight barons and romance sorceresses while being allergic to shirt buttons. And sliding in like a blood-soaked fever dream is Bloodbrone. This isn't a game, it's a test to see how long your sanity can last against 20-legged bosses who scream in Latin. You dodge, die, scream, repeat. The enemies look like a Lovecraftian meat blender, and the architecture is just staircases stacked on other staircases. You're constantly bleeding, everything is wet for no reason, and you're never sure if you're progressing or just being emotionally bullied by the map. Replaying this right now feels like willingly re-enrolling in Nightmare School, with the same twisted teachers and zero chance of passing. Next on the madness menu is Batman Arkham Knight. There's punching, there's more punching, then there's a Batmobile that handles like a tank on a sugar rush. You'll glide through Gotham, dive kick goons mid-sentence, and hack drones like it's Batman's part-time IT job. Every villain has an elaborate plan, which usually ends with you throwing them through a window. And then there's the stealth missions where you basically toy with armed criminals like a bored house cat. Now, this game still feels like the ultimate superhero simulator if your superpower was being angry, rich, and violently allergic to crime. And coming in loud is Days Gone. Ah yes, the open-world zombie biker simulator no one asked for but everyone secretly loved. You ride through scenic Oregon with a beard, a bat, and a bike that breaks down every 5 minutes. The infected show up in hordes that look like the aftermath of a concert with free pizza, and you'll run out of ammo just trying to escape one. Then there's the crafting, Molotovs, traps, explosives, basically everything but emotional stability. Revisiting this now is like crawling back to an ex that taught you survival skills, only now with better frame rates. And next we have Horizon Zero Dawn. It's a game where you hunt robot dinosaurs with a bow, and somehow that makes complete sense. You'll spend hours crouch walking through tall grass like a very sneaky lawn ornament while machines casually shoot lasers at you. The map is 90% scenic hiking trail and 10% high-tech death arena. You can override mechs, ride robo-horses, and still get one-shotted by a cyber bear that hates your hair. Crafting gear feels like assembling IKEA furniture with ancient sci-fi parts. Playing this right now is like going camping in the future, if the squirrels had machine guns. Next on the list is Prototype. This game asks, what if you could run up buildings, suplex helicopters, and body slam tanks using your spine? The answer is pure mayhem. You absorb people to steal their memories like the world's creepiest USB stick, and transform your arms into weapons that scream, I have unresolved issues. The movement is smoother than butter on a slip and slide, and you can basically parkour across New York like a caffeinated shadow demon. Playing this again in 2025 feels like therapy if your therapist told you to launch a car at a helicopter and then turn into a crab.
Hold until package arrival. Over.
Strike squad is authorized and deployed.
Sound off friendlies. Tornado 5 approaching.
Let's keep the chaos going with The Last of Us Part 1. This isn't a game, It's emotional destruction dressed as a third-person survival shooter. You'll go from crying to crafting shivs in 0.2 seconds. Every encounter is a choice between stealthy ninja and full-blown panic grenade, and somehow both end with a bottle to the face. The environments are gorgeous if you like your beauty with a side of fungus and permanent sadness. Replaying this in 2025 feels like cuddling with a cactus. Painful, beautiful, and probably gonna mess up your weekend.
Got you. You ain't going nowhere.
Up next is Zelda, Breath of the Wild. This one drops you into the world and says, figure it out, genius. You'll die from cold, lightning, falling off a rock, or accidentally cooking something that explodes. Your weapons break if you sneeze on them, your horse runs into trees, and yet somehow it's perfect. You'll climb everything just because you can, glide off cliffs like a lunatic, and spend 2 hours pushing a metal box with magnets just to get a Korok seed that does absolutely nothing. Playing this in 2025 is like trying to survive in a fantasy sandbox built by someone who loves chaos and beautiful views. And coming in hot is Bayonetta 2. This isn't just a game, it's a fashion show wrapped in high-speed demon slapping. You're flipping through the air in heels that shoot bullets, juggling angels like they're made of tennis balls. The combat is so flashy, it makes fireworks feel underwhelming. Every attack ends in slow-mo, dramatic camera angles, and the sound of your brain trying to keep up. Enemies range from dragon-faced cherubs to cathedral-sized meat monsters, and none of it makes sense. But it's glorious. Replaying this in 2025 feels like overdosing on sugar, glitter, and sass. Pure chaos couture. Next up is God of War 2018. This game is basically a parenting simulator where parenting includes axe throwing, punching trolls in the spleen, and screaming "boy" like it's a full sentence. The axe? It's the most satisfying weapon in human history. You throw it, it hits like a truck, and it comes back like a well-trained dog. Every puzzle makes you feel like a Norse handyman with anger issues, and every enemy is just another excuse to show off your Viking CrossFit skills. Revisiting this in 2025 is like reconnecting with an old gym partner, except now you both carry emotional baggage and magical weapons. And now crashing in through the window is GTA 5. This game is what happens when chaos gets a driver's license. You'll steal 14 cars, launch a plane into a golf course, and parachute into traffic, all before lunch. Every mission feels like it was written by a caffeinated stuntman with no insurance. And don't even get me started on the side activities. You can play tennis, do yoga, or commit armed robbery in flip-flops. The physics are questionable, the radio is better than real life, and the NPCs have more attitude than your coworkers. Playing this again in 2025 is like visiting your unhinged cousins. Fun, loud, and probably illegal. Let's slide into darkness with Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. This game whispers in your ears, constantly. Literally, it's the only game where wearing headphones feels like you're being stalked by your own thoughts. The combat feels like a medieval fever dream, the puzzles are mostly stare at a stick until you hallucinate, and the atmosphere is thicker than cold soup. It's haunting, it's stunning, and it'll make you question reality, your choices, and whether that rock was really just a rock. Replaying this in 2025 is like meditating inside a thunderstorm, calm and terrifying at the same time. And creeping up next is Resident Evil 7. This is the game that took one look at your comfort zone and burned it down with a flamethrower. Every hallway is a trap, every door is a bad decision, and the Baker family, let's just say they redefine Southern hospitality. The house layout makes zero architectural sense, but who cares? You're too busy screaming and trying not to get chainsawed. There's crafting, hiding, and lots of "did that just move" moments. Playing this in 2025 is like spending the night in a haunted Airbnb. You're curious, scared, and deeply regretting your lack of ammo.
Stay the fuck out!
Next on the pain parade is Dark Souls 3. This game doesn't hold your hand, it slaps it away and sets it on fire. Every enemy is a boss, and every boss is a dissertation on misery. You'll die before the tutorial ends and somehow be proud of it. You roll everywhere like furniture with anxiety, and the lore is so vague it might as well be written in moonlight. You don't play to win, you play to survive and brag about it later. Revisiting this in 2025 feels like returning to a toxic relationship that taught you valuable life lessons, like when to dodge, when to run, and how to cry with dignity. Next on the list is A Plague Tale: Innocence. It's the only game where rats have better pathfinding than your squad in any FPS. The rats are everywhere. Under the ground, in the walls, probably in your save file. You'll spend hours solving puzzles by chucking rocks at lanterns and hoping the darkness doesn't eat you alive. The stealth sections feel like medieval hide-and-seek on hard mode, and the atmosphere is so grim it makes your houseplants wilt. And yet, it's mesmerizing. Replaying this in 2025 feels like stepping back into a Renaissance-themed rat apocalypse where your main weapon is sibling stress.
We'll be safe if we go that way.
Don't fall. Don't fall.
We won't fall. Hold my hand tight.
Let's keep rolling with Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands. This one's basically a non-stop parkour audition for the Olympics of physics denial. Every wall is climbable, every ledge is barely wide enough for one toe, and every puzzle has about 4 spinning death blades because apparently ancient architects were lunatics. The combat is 50% swordplay, 50% magical sand nonsense, and 100% I swear I pressed jump. Gravity politely takes a vacation, and the camera exists solely to ruin your timing. Playing this in 2025 feels like entering a time loop of frustration, wall running, and one very athletic royal. And next we have Sleeping Dogs. This is what happens when a crime drama gets distracted by martial arts choreography and forgets to be subtle. Every fight ends with you slamming someone into a fish tank or vending machine while wearing a designer suit. Driving feels like an arcade machine from a night market, and karaoke bars are somehow more intense than the shootouts. The city is alive, rude, and always 2 seconds away from a street chase. Replaying this in 2025 is like watching a kung fu movie while doing donuts in a stolen sports car. You don't know why it works, but it does. Up next is Sunset Overdrive. If an energy drink got sentient and made a video game, this would be it. You bounce, grind, flip, and explode across a neon city full of mutants who look like soda gone wrong. The game doesn't care about realism, physics, or logic. It only cares if you're having a sugar rush meltdown while firing vinyl records at something's face. The humor is loud, the colors are louder, and the traversal system makes walking feel like a crime. Playing this again in 2025 is like jumping into a rock concert during an earthquake, with fireworks and roller skates and maybe a flamethrower guitar. And now, drawing its blade is Ghost of Tsushima. This one turns every raindrop into poetry and every sword fight into an art class taught by a violent wind god. You'll spend half the game in photo mode, sobbing over how pretty the grass is, and the other half in duels so dramatic they should have intermissions. You follow foxes, write haiku mid-battle, and then set an entire camp on fire without breaking eye contact. The combat is so smooth it's disrespectful. Replaying it in 2025 feels like stepping into a samurai dream where honor, style, and destruction all ride the same horse backwards into the sunset. Next on the list is Fallout 4. This game hands you a laser rifle, a sad dog, and a nuclear wasteland, and then says, "Good luck, idiot." You'll spend 90% of your time looting rusted desk fans and wondering why you're carrying 47 toothbrushes. The dialogue system feels like ordering food while blindfolded. But hey, at least you can build a shanty town that collapses under its own ambition. Every side quest leads to a bigger side quest, which leads to a new companion who won't shut up. Revisiting it in 2025 is like moving into a post-apocalyptic fixer-upper with more radiation and fewer working doors. Let's get tactical with Metal Gear Solid 5. This game starts with a flaming whale and somehow gets weirder. You can ride horses, kidnap soldiers with balloons, and sneak around in a cardboard box so convincing enemies develop box PTSD. The stealth mechanics are perfect, but let's be real. You'll eventually call in a supply drop on someone's head. There's a sniper who doesn't talk, a guy named Skullface, and a base you micromanage like an overly armed spreadsheet. Replaying this in 2025 is like falling into a spy fever dream directed by someone who just learned what subtlety isn't. And next we have Rise of the Tomb Raider. This one drops you into the snow with nothing but determination and an unlimited supply of dramatic grunts. You'll climb ancient ruins that have somehow never collapsed despite being entirely made of breakable planks, solve puzzles that involve pushing giant gears, and kill wildlife so often you start side-eyeing squirrels in real life. The crafting system turns junk into lethal weapons, and every tomb you find feels like someone designed it after binge-watching trap-making tutorials. Replaying this in 2025 is like joining an extreme hiking cult with a death wish.
Now this wall looks like it was put up in a hurry. I can feel air coming through from the other side.
Up next is Skyrim. Ah yes, the land of arrows, dragons, and guards with memory loss. You start off trying to save the world, and 10 minutes later, you're stealing cheese and marrying a blacksmith. Every quest leads to another 5, and before you know it, you're head of every guild, a werewolf, a vampire, and possibly a god, all while wearing armor made out of crab shells. The physics are held together by duct tape and ambition. Replaying this in 2025 is like booting up a sacred artifact that still crashes when you put a bucket on someone's head, but we love it anyway. And finally, storming in on horseback is Red Dead Redemption 2. This game makes you brush your horse more than your own hair. The realism is so intense, you'll spend an hour hunting a squirrel and then fall off a cliff trying to skin it. The world is massive, gorgeous, and filled with people who always need help moving something or punching someone. The shootouts are gritty, the pacing is slow cooked, and the fishing is somehow more emotional than most RPG finales. Replaying this in 2025 feels like returning to a beautifully detailed stress simulator where the true boss fight is remembering the button to mount your horse. So there you have it, 30 games that still go hard in 2025, like they've got something to prove. Hit that like button if your backlog just got 30 games heavier, and subscribe if you enjoy sarcasm, chaos, and questionable gaming priorities. Now go reinstall something and pretend it's for research. Catch you in the next one.